What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope we're all doing really well. Now, we have the 4-1-2-1-2. Haven't done this formation this FC25 cycle yet. I've been playing around with it. You've probably seen it in and around my channel somewhere in the background. Now, I don't want to say I've perfected it, but I'm 95% happier with it than what I have been. So, yeah, let's just jump straight into this. So, again, we'll do the code towards the end of the video. Is obviously the 4-1-2-1-2 wide, so it's the LM and the RM, not the two CMs. We're on counter-attacking with the build-up style, and we're on defensive approach. We're having that high, we're keeping that on 70. Why you'd want any more than 70, I'm not quite sure, because 70 gives you the offside trap, it also gives you the step up, and it also gives you the little bit of aggression that you need in your defenders. Anything higher, I think, is just dicing at the minute with the through balls and the speedy players and stuff like that. Anything lower, you're just sitting in your own box. So that's how I prefer that one set up. So yeah, let's watch some gameplay clips, and then there is a squad battle clip in there, but it is just explaining the difference between my attacking version and my defensive version of this. So it's definitely worth watching the gameplay clips, and then obviously waiting for the code, which will be at the end of the video. So yeah, let me drop in some gameplay clips. For the record, we've got Division Rivals, we've got FutChamps gameplay clips, and yeah, then we'll jump into the how I've got this set up. So I'm going to do this in a squad battle because it's easier to do it in a squad battle rather than try and explain it during the gameplay clips. So as you can see here, if you push left on the D-pad, you get my 4-1-2-1-2 formation, or my 4-4-2, depending on which one. So you can see on the left on the D-pad, it's my default 4-1-2-1-2. If you press up on the D-pad, you obviously get your offside trap, team press, etc., etc. If you press down on the D-pad, it doesn't do anything. If you press right on the D-pad, you get default, defending, and attacking. And that is the one that is interesting, and that is the one that is going to make this formation, you know, more attacking or less attacking, depending on how you want to use it. So in certain instances, you will see that I've got 4 players forward. That is because I'm switching it to the more attacking mode, which you can see on your screen. It's more attacking, and then other times it's just, you know, it's just on default. So I just wanted to let you guys, I just wanted to try and explain that a little bit better. So when you see more men forward, it's because I'm using the attacking version opposed to the defending, opposed to the default version. It just depends on where you are on the pitch. So if I'm using the 4-1-2-1-2 and I want it to be more attacking, yeah, then obviously it's a given I switch it to attacking. So that way what happens is you get your 2 strikers, your LM and your RM going up the field, and then you'll get the cam just in behind. So effectively you're going to be playing like a 4-1-1-4. Hope that makes sense. Hope I've made it make sense, and then we're just going to carry on with the rest of the game clips. So we'll start off with Division Rivals because it's the most used game mode, and yeah, we're going to be using some lone players as well because our squad is not great at this point in time. We have some nice players, we don't have the best players. So at the minute, yeah, we're relying on some lone players like Salah, Bale, Hazard. And yeah, it's going pretty well. I mean, I quite like these players. I've looked at their prices and they're way out of my league at this point in time. So yeah, it is what it is. But the 4-1-2-1-2 is a crazy good formation in any game mode, whether you be using Rivals, whether you be using it in FutChamps. We've been using it in FutChamps and we've been winning. We went 10 and 5 this weekend league. Where you're seeing a lot of these gameplay clips are coming from this weekend league, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good start. You know, especially we're a month in now. We're trying to now try and find a balance with certain gameplay with certain things. So yeah, there's not a lot to say apart from the tactical focus side of things. So what I was trying to say was, when you use like the right on the D-pad and you choose attack and defend or default is what you set it to in your custom tactics section. And if you press defend, it'll do exactly what it says on the tin. It will just drop everybody back a little bit. It will change the depth and it will change the playing instructions as well for each player. To more defensive side of things. Then when you hit attacking, it's more attacking. So the depth is slightly higher. I think the depth goes up to 90, and then yeah, the more attacking players will get forward more, which is pretty good with this formation because basically what happens is, and what you'll find is, you'll be playing a 4-1-1-4. Now, you can't make that formation in this game. However, when you couple that with a 4-1-2-1-2, whether it be narrow or wide, you can create a 4-1-1-4 formation, and it is extremely hard to break down. So what that means is your LM, RM, and two strikers will be up the field, and the cam will be sitting slightly behind them, and then behind the cam will be the DM. So yeah, I mean, obviously it does leave a massive gap in midfield, but the whole point of that situation is to outnumber your defence, your opponent's defence basically, and then yeah, you're through on goal pretty much most of the time. Because what you'll find is the higher up divisions you go. So currently in Division One, do I recommend you go any higher than that? No, at this point in time. Obviously, it's personal choice. I kind of regret being in Division One. There's a lot of toxicity in Division One at the minute, and there's a lot of BS in there as well. So it's a bit awkward, but it is what it is. And again, we're in that division for a reason. So, what happens is, or what tends to happen is, you get a lot of basically teams that will play four at the back, but their left back and right back will be bombing forward, and they'll bomb forward to the point of like no return, which makes a lot of sense, especially in FutChamps and especially in the higher divisions, because obviously it's all about attacking and more skillful players. Now, like me, I'm not that skillful in the game. Sometimes I'm extremely skillful, sometimes I'm not. And it's just the way my brain functions being an older type person. So unfortunately, I can't keep up with everybody all the time. So this is where these formations will come into their own. So what I'll find is, if I do come across somebody that is extremely skillful, or they do have that left back and right back bombing forward, and I can't cope, I'll just switch to that. I'll switch to attacking mode. That pushes my players forward, which I hope would push his left back and right back into position, stop him being less attacking, and it takes a little bit of pressure off me. But 9 times out of 10, what you'll find is that person will not go any more defensive. They'll carry on playing as they are. They leave gaps which we expose, and when we expose these gaps, that's where our goals will come from. So yeah, I hope you've got a better understanding on how I've got this working at the minute. So um, so yeah, the the way we've got this set up is, it looks very defensive, and it kind of is defensive, which is why you need the D-pad option, which I've shown you in the basically the gameplay clips and the setup. So yeah, we're using the left back and the right back on full back and balanced. Let them do front and back. Let them work rates do what they're doing. My holding player is exactly what it says on the tin. So with Declan Rice, he is predominantly a DM. So yeah, I want one of those genuine DMs in that position. DMs in that position. So that's why I've chose him. Palmer, doesn't matter if you could use all sorts of players in that position. Doesn't even have to be a cam, because effectively, when you have it with the ball, he's on roaming. He's doing what he wants to do. Now, when you have the ball, you can kind of see how close the LM and the LM and left back are, and the right back and RM are. Now, that is true in game, and that is very true. They are very close together, but they support one another in terms of the 1-2s and things like that. So don't be disheartened by the way that looks. It's still attacking. It's just they will defend. They will look after each other a little bit more. Now I'm using one of my players as a false nine because I want them to come back and help with the build-up play, and then obviously my first striker, my main striker, Haaland on this particular is on poacher plus plus, because that is what Haaland is in this game. So because you've got it on counter, you don't really notice how close they are together. Um, so there doesn't look like there's much gap between between the six of them. But trust me, when you couple that in game and you put it to the counter attack, it makes a massive difference. Now you can see in the game we had some crazy FutChamps games. I had a player sent off, he had a player sent off. It was just absolutely bonkers. However, this formation gets me out of so many different sticky situations, which is why I probably call it my comeback formation. And it's the formation that I tend to use the 4-1-2-1-2 wide. I tend to use the 4-4-2, and I also use the 4-2-1-3 as well a lot at the minute. So they're the main formations that I'm rocking, and they're the main formations that I'm switching in between, especially when I'm playing things like FutChamps, because obviously when I come up against different players, different teams, different styles, if I find one's not working, another one will. So that's how I have that set up. So that kind of makes sense to me, to have different versions, different variations of formations and setups, especially in FutChamps. Rivals not too fussed about, but in FutChamps, if you want to get 10, 11 wins, then you need to have more than just one tactic in your arsenal, basically. So yeah, hit that like button if you like what you see. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you can see when I upload, because I do upload on a regular basis. Yeah, I'm going to start putting countdown markers on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram as well. So yeah, if I've got a video coming out, there'll be a countdown on there so you can see what time it's being uploaded. I tend to try and do Mondays and Fridays. I have been doing extra videos just lately. So yeah, it's always worth giving me a follow on another social media just to see when I'm uploading. So yeah, and yeah, I want to thank everybody so much for their support. It's been amazing. Let's keep it going. Let's like it. Let's share it. Let's just keep the momentum building up and getting these formations out to people that really need them. I'm not a pro. I don't claim to be a pro. You just sit just like you guys. So that's how I prefer that one set up. So yeah, let's now slowly but surely. Let's watch some gameplay clips. Making a difference. Yeah, they're not just. And then there is a squad battle clip in there, but it is just explaining the difference between my attacking version and my defensive version of this. So it's definitely worth